Good Monday morning. It's John. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report. After a beautiful weekend here in East Tennessee, we're back to you with a little tidbit of news here and there. Not a lot going on. Of course, you've all heard about the great fundraiser that took place in Los Angeles with all of the glittery of Julia Roberts and Clooney, and of course Barack Obama, who, if you got to watch any of that, is amazing, as he had to help Biden come off the stage. But they managed to raise $30 million for Biden's campaign, or the fourth term of Barack Obama. And it's very disturbing that they would let this poor old guy look like this in front of all of the people, and all of the people in the United States and the world. Don't forget, he's embarrassed himself with the Pope. He's embarrassed himself at the D-Day celebration. And of course, he really has embarrassed himself at the G7 summit that he was in. The woman who is in charge of Italy had to literally take care of him and point him in the right direction most times. And even a parachutist coming down and landing right in front of him, it didn't catch his imagination or attention. He looked the other way.
Are you for real?
Regardless, it's like he doesn't know where he is, and he's going to go into these debates or debate with Trump, which MSNBC is trying to paint Trump as the one that needs a teleprompter and not Joe Biden. Well, come on. Have you heard Joe talk without a teleprompter? I mean, really ask yourself. It's like Weekend at Bernie's. They're propping this guy up and pushing him through for what reasoning we don't know. But it's embarrassing for he, and it's embarrassing for his family to be out there doing these things. Never mind having your fingers on the nuclear codes while you're out there doing this. But everyone knows this has been the third term of Obama, and now he's raising money to have a fourth term of Obama, and or Gavin Newsom, which would be highly dangerous given the fact, if you look at what he's done to the state of California, you want to put him in and then put him in charge of doing the same thing to the rest of this country.
You hearing this?
The man may be a pretty face with great hair, but he's not an electable individual by any stretch of the means. All you have to do is look at what his past performances are in the state of California. But a lot hinges on, they're saying now that RFK Jr. may have a chance of being part of these debates, which I think should be done. I think everyone that is running on the presidential ballot in any state should be part and parcel to any debates that go on, and let's hear their ideas and let's hear their solutions to some of the problems that we face in this country right now. Number one problem is the economy. Number two is the border. And number three is our military readiness right now with recruitment problems that we're having. And you need to have answers to these particular problems and the solutions that they have to fix each of these problems. We're not getting much more out of the Democratic side other than rhetoric. And now it's come to light that they're going to hang their hat on going against Trump and probably RFK Jr., because they're the front runners right now in my mind. And they're going to call him a convicted felon, and they're going to call RFK Jr. a not right person. They're already calling him worm brain, and they're calling him an anti-vaxxer. None of this could be any further from the truth. But they're going to use abortion as number one, and convicted felon, abortion, convicted felon. That's all you're going to hear from the Democratic Party from here on to November. No matter who is put in place, whether it is Joe or whether it is Newsom, or my big fear would be Michelle Obama or Hillary Clinton. And that should worry you somewhat as well, because we all know what she is capable of as far as spreading lies, misinformation, Russia, and tried everything, trick in the book to get Trump the last time. She still has not gotten over that. And this get Trump thing needs to come to an abrupt end. Let's hear what their solutions are, and let's make the informed decisions that we as Americans have the right to do. These people should be working for us, elected by us, and not cheating their way into any situations where it would be doubtful if the number of votes that were cast are actually true votes. They're pushing early voting again. I guess both sides are pushing early voting. That bothers me somewhat because there's too much of a space and time for manipulation of these things. And I have never personally trusted early voting. There's too many reasons that it could get lost, or you want to change your mind at the last minute. You can't with an early vote. And so I'm going to go with the traditional vote on Election Day. And I think that on Election Day, we should have a result at the end of the day, not 4 months later, 3 months later, 3 weeks later. This has to stop. It's a crucial election that we're going to face in November, and it is so crucial that it may mean this country's survival. Our economy is in a mess. No matter what Karine Jean-Pierre wants to get up and tell you about how sharp Joe Biden is and how great our economy is, and all the things that Bidenomics have done to this country or for this country, is all pure BS. We have one chance here to fix things, and it's a chance that we have to stay in line with and make sure that we vote correctly. Make sure that you're not fooled again. So, we got out a little bit this weekend, and we went into Mountain City, Tennessee, but I waited too long on a Saturday. We got there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and all of the places of interest that I wanted to film in were closed. They closed at 3 o'clock, and we got there at 3:30. So we will get back down to Mountain City one day in the near future and see some of the general store that has been reclaimed down there that I wanted to get into. It's now a deli, and they preserved the building. It was a historic building. And we'll get in to see it when we can get down there and they're not closed. So, and probably have a little bit of a lunch there maybe. We didn't do much outside yesterday, Father's Day. And by the way, if you missed our Friday broadcast, I will tell you one more time to all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day, day after. And hope you enjoyed some cookout yesterday and got to be with your children and had some peace of mind for a day. We did here. It was very, very hot weather here yesterday, very humid and hot, both Saturday and Sunday, with no rain. And it was a little uncomfortable to be outside too much, but I did spend the day outside yesterday. All my children had either called, the ones that are not living here, and my daughter stopped by, and we had a nice lunch. And it was a very, very peaceful day for me. I got up in the morning and was happy and did not inundate myself with any of the Sunday morning news until way later in the day, just to see what was going on. But it was more of the same, the Hunter Biden trial, this trial and that trial and things of that nature that were, repeats from during the week. So I saw no reason to do any breaking news stories because there were none, other than the laughing stock of the world. We saw the Australian news network that carries the lefties losing it. They were all over about Biden's actions with the Pope and his interactions with the Prime Minister of Italy and other G7 leaders that were there that were just kind of shaking their heads about his actions there. He missed several meetings, was too tired to go to a couple. Jet lag will do that to you, even though you're pampered like heck on Air Force One. But we don't know what goes on behind the closed doors in the smoky rooms of the Democrats anymore. So that's something that's always happened. So we know that. Again, career politicians that sit there 40 and 50 years need to be moved on away. We need term limits. There is no discussion about term limits are harmful. That's not harmful. It's harmful to us to watch somebody sit there for 55 years making the wrong decision after wrong decision and being rewarded by being re-voted in. That is a travesty. Will it get better? Absolutely. We have a lot of good people. My sincere prayer and hope is that if Trump is the person, that he picks the proper people to fill a cabinet with the expertise to fix the problems, the aforementioned problems that we talked about earlier. His vice presidential choice is crucial if he thinks he's going to win this election. He made a bad vice presidential choice the last go around, which did not help him. He has some great people to look at for that position. You look at Ben Carson alone would be a real asset to a new administration. Here is a brilliant man, a calm man, a thinking man. And then, everybody is pushing for, well, will it be a woman? Well, I got to tell you, the woman that they're pushing toward him and trying to push down his throat for a vice presidential pick is not a good choice. and that's Nikki Haley. She's already been backed by BlackRock, and the Democrats would love to see her in that position. We need to have behind a 77-year-old president someone who can step into the shoes and refill that position without a misstep should something happen to that president. They need to be able to do it. If you look at the Biden administration, if that should happen to Joe Biden, look what we're stuck with. Talk about wrong choices and diversify choices for vice president position. He's made the biggest blunder in the world. But it's a good insurance policy for him because no one likes her. But there are other female candidates that are presenting. I think that everybody was very high on Kristi Noem, but Kristi Noem had to shoot a dog and tell everybody about it, and that's the end. So that's not, in my mind, a viable choice any longer. And then you have a bunch of, career politicians that are lined up trying to get his attention, pick me. And then the ones that don't get picked end up like Chris Christie and Romney. When they don't get picked, they get mean, and then they turn on him. So he has to make an informed, good decision on picking a VP, and even more of a good decision when he picks his cabinet for the outgoing portion, if he should be elected. But we need talented people in our government elected to do a job that they have the credentials to do, and not because we have to have diversity hires. This is what went wrong here. Diversity hires are fine in some areas, but they haven't done us any good in the last 3.5 years. And that's evident. Go to the grocery store, go buy goods, go buy a home and find out all of the nuances that have been added to this, and the PMI insurances and homeowners insurance. If you live on the West Coast, talking about Gavin Newsom, if you happen to live in California, you can't afford to live there. You can't afford to work there. And people are leaving in droves. And they're ending up in states like Texas, Tennessee, Florida, and some of the northern states, like Vermont and New Hampshire. New York has been destroyed. Chicago has been destroyed. Los Angeles is a shadow of its former self and corrupt. San Francisco, wow. You will not believe how bad San Francisco has become. And this was a city on a hill that I loved to go to. I wouldn't today. I would not go back to my hometown in New York City today. I'd like to. Still have property there. But the crime is out of control. The judicial system in New York is now so corrupt that they only can think of one thing, and that's get Trump. And I happen to be one person that knows the good things that Trump did for that city, the city of New York, that they quickly forgot and don't recognize anymore because you don't have mayors that are in charge of a city, and you don't have a governor that's in charge of a state that has the experience or the wherewithal to do the job that's required to put that state back into good stead. They know how to tax the hell out of their residents. And then now she tried to put in this thing where you had to pay $15 to go to work, plus the bridge crossing toll. Congestion tax. Well, she quickly found out that wasn't going to work because they would have nobody going to work. It costs you now, if you live in New Jersey or out on the island, you have to pay for train, or you have to pay tolls to come into the city from over in Jersey. And they're not cheap tolls. It's hard to work into a state where you can't afford to feed your family on what you make and then pay enormous amounts for your fuel to get to work and the food that you have to put on the table to feed your family. It has to come to a reckoning, and this election is the way that it's going to happen. But we have to all educate ourselves on every candidate that's running and make a proper decision based on the fact that they tell you what their solutions to each of these problems are. Hopefully that'll come out in the debate if it ever does take place. I guess that's in a week and a half from now. I'm sure that CNN has it rigged up well. We'll see. But Weekend at Bernie's continues. We shall see. So today is Monday. It's slightly overcast today, but no forecast of rain. It's going to be warm again today, 88 degrees here. We have to go out and get some farm work done today, so we'll be back to you tomorrow morning with anything breaks during the rest of the day, or if I do get out to visit any villages today, we'll take the camera with us and try to get a late afternoon broadcast out to you. So watch out for shorts, and remember, we need you here at the Kaiser Report. We need your subscriptions. And of course, I always want to know what your thoughts are on the things that are happening in and around the country today and around the world. So if you're watching the Kaiser Report, use the comment section below. Tell me what you're thinking. We always love hearing from you. And don't be afraid if you don't like something that we say here. Let us know so we can do better for you. But remember to subscribe and like, and please share at the same time so we can pick up some more viewers, and it helps us here bring you better content. And we love you here at the Kaiser Report. Remember that. And as always, please tune in tomorrow. So with that, we'll let you dance on out of here. Bye-bye now. Now a word from our sponsor, Lazy J Farms.
Lazy J Farms has been raising the finest cattle and all-natural pork for 3 generations on the family farm in Fall Branch. Their blonde Aquitaine herd offers a leaner, healthier, and more tasteful beef. And the butcher shop is local, farm to table, and 100% authentic. This is the way your grandfather shopped for me, with steaks cut to order, quality assured, and ready to ship to your door. Open Thursday through Saturday on Bloomingdale Road in Kingsport. Come see us.